The NHL All-Star Game has seen numerous changes and evolutions since its inception over 70 years ago. While some argue that the game can sometimes lack excitement and full effort from players, there is no denying that it has produced some truly remarkable moments throughout its history. From unforgettable farewell tributes to astounding record-breaking performances in the skills competition, and even some rather cringe-worthy draft outcomes, we have compiled a montage showcasing some of the most outstanding moments and games in the history of the NHL All-Star Game. Let's dive in. If you've been enjoying our videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and activate the notification bell for more content. The 1988 All-Star Game is remembered as a standout moment in the history of the event. Mario Lemieux's remarkable performance that day set the St. Louis Arena ablaze with excitement, captivating the more than 18,000 spectators in attendance. In that game, Lemieux racked up 6 points, which included 3 assists and a crucial goal in overtime to complete a hat trick and secure a 6-5 victory for the Wales Conference. What's even more impressive is that Mario earned his second All-Star Game MVP award that day at the tender age of just 22 years old. The 1980 All-Star Game stands out as a historic milestone in hockey history. This particular game featured the legendary Mr. Hockey himself, Gordie Howe, participating in his remarkable 23rd and final NHL All-Star Game. At the time, Howe was a 51-year-old right-winger representing the Hartford Whalers. Throughout his illustrious 26-season NHL career, he had played in 23 All-Star Games, remarkably missing only one in each of the decades of 1947, 1956, and 1966. The 1980 All-Star Game took place at the newly constructed Joe Louis Arena, situated along the scenic Detroit riverfront. This event also showcased the emergence of a young rookie, 19-year-old Wayne Gretzky, who idolized Howe and would eventually challenge his status as the greatest player in hockey history. Gordie Howe received a rousing reception from the packed arena, paying tribute to him with an emotional standing ovation, a fitting acknowledgement of one of the game's all-time greats. During the game, Howe contributed an assist to his team's efforts, concluding his All-Star career with a total of 19 points. Although the final score favored the Wales Conference at 6-3, the true essence of this game was the celebration of Gordie Howe's enduring contribution to the sport at the remarkable age of 51. In 2016, an online campaign aimed at securing a spot for Coyotes enforcer John Scott in the NHL All-Star Game managed to miraculously work. What began as a lighthearted joke quickly gained momentum, leading to Scott, who had only scored 5 goals in his entire NHL career, up to that point being included in the game thanks to overwhelming fan support. The lead-up to the All-Star Game was marked by weeks of tension between the NHL and passionate fans who championed Scott's participation. Eventually, he was granted permission to play and, astonishingly, was even appointed as the captain of the Pacific Division team. However, the story didn't end there. John Scott not only participated in the game, but he also became the standout star of the event. He scored 2 crucial goals during the semifinals of the tournament, propelling his team into the final, which the Pacific Division ultimately won. Scott's remarkable performance earned him the title of All-Star Game MVP, along with a $1 million prize and a brand new SUV. During a time in the NHL when regular season games were characterized by low scores and physical play, the All-Star Games of the 1990s stood out for their high-scoring affairs. The All-Star Game in 1997 was no exception, as the teams combined to produce a record-setting 10 goals in the second period, with the Eastern Conference team emerging victorious with an 11-7 win. However, the real standout moment occurred when San Jose's Owen Nolan stole the spotlight in front of his hometown fans. He made a bold and memorable shot call that would make Babe Ruth himself jealous, pointing his glove and targeting the top right corner of the net. Nolan executed this audacious move to perfection, securing a hat trick against none other than Dominik Hasek, widely regarded as the league's premier goaltender at the time. Wayne Gretzky was destined to be an integral part of some of the most remarkable moments in NHL history. His legacy is evident in the numerous records he holds and the indelible memories he created within the game. Among these, his 18 appearances in the All-Star Games stand out, with a few particular instances that are truly remarkable. One of these standout moments occurred during the 1983 All-Star Game showdown between the Campbell Conference and the Wales Conference. In that game, Wayne Gretzky's extraordinary talent shone brightly as he netted 4 goals in the third period, propelling the Campbell Conference to a commanding 9-3 victory. This achievement marked him as the first player in All-Star Game history to score 4 goals in a game. In 1999, Gretzky concluded his illustrious NHL career, and it also marked his 18th and final All-Star appearance, held in Tampa Bay. In this poignant farewell, the Great One made the most of his last All-Star game by scoring a goal, providing 2 assists, and earning MVP honors at the age of 38. This memorable performance took place in a city that may never have embraced hockey if it weren't for Gretzky's influence, making that entire All-Star weekend a celebration of number 99's incredible legacy. In an attempt to bring a new twist to the All-Star Game in 2011, the league implemented a fantasy draft-style format, departing from the traditional conference-based approach. Team captains took turns selecting players individually until there was just one lone player left, and that turned out to be Phil Kessel. In a somewhat awkward moment for Kessel, he tried to brush off the situation while Washington Capitals superstar Alex Ovechkin seized the opportunity to capture a photo of the last person sitting. However, Kessel ultimately had the last laugh because the player chosen last in the draft was awarded a brand new Honda CR-Z as a somewhat tongue-in-cheek recognition for being the final selection. To this day, the 2011 All-Star Game goes down as one of the weirder ones in history. Zdeno Chara, an imposing 6'7" defenseman, was widely recognized for his ability to unleash clappers from the blue line. During the 2012 All-Star Skills Competition, Chara delivered a jaw-dropping moment that left spectators in awe. He unleashed a thunderous slap shot, clocked at a staggering 108.8 miles per hour, eclipsing his own previous record of 105.9 miles per hour set in 2011. At the age of 22, Danny Heatley made his inaugural appearance at the All-Star Game in 2003, boasting just 2 years of NHL experience. Despite his relatively short time in the league, he delivered a dazzling performance during the game, etching his name in history as the first player ever to score 4 regulation goals in their All-Star Game debut. The contest extended to a shootout, where Heatley added another goal to his impressive tally. Nevertheless, despite his remarkable efforts, the Eastern Conference came up short, with the Western Conference prevailing with a final score of 6-5. In 1951, the NHL decided to introduce a fresh format for the All-Star Game, pitting the first-team All-Stars against the second-team All-Stars. The game turned out to be a closely contested battle, resulting in an unprecedented 2-2 tie, a first in NHL history. However, what truly makes this game, hosted at Maple Leaf Gardens, stand out are the 2 memorable fights that broke out on the ice. During this heated matchup, Gordie Howe of the Detroit Red Wings squared off against Maurice Richard, while his Red Wings teammate Ted Lindsay tussled with Teeter Kennedy of the Toronto Maple Leafs. In today's world, witnessing even a hint of physical play in an All-Star Game is a rarity, let alone witnessing 2 fights taking place in the same game. In 1988, as the international hockey landscape grew more competitive and the traditional All-Star format seemed a bit stale, the NHL decided to make a change. They introduced a new format for the All-Star game, dividing the players into two teams. North American players facing off against a team representing the best players from the rest of the world. During this game, Teemu Selanne of the Anaheim Ducks left a lasting impression by scoring 3 goals, earning himself the MVP award. This marked a significant milestone, as it was the first time the MVP honor went to a European player. However, despite Selanne's impressive performance, his All-Star team ended up on the losing side, falling short with an 8-7 score against the North American squad. And there you have it, a selection of some of the most memorable and incredible moments we've ever seen in NHL All-Star Game history. The future is indeed bright for the NHL, and we hope that hockey's mid-season classic can produce even more jaw-dropping moments for years to come. Drop a comment below and let us know what your favorite NHL All-Star Game moment is. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.